this attack, the latest attack, was carried out. These are terrains that are pretty much similar. So what is it that you're doing? Or is the terrain a challenge for the Nigerian police force?
Thank you so much. There's actually the areas are very difficult terrain, like you have said, but it's not a challenge to us. It equally hinder at times the effective deployment of personnel on the ground. But as we speak, the 5 mobile units are already on ground in Adamawa. They are already been deployed to this trouble spot. And we not only where we have problems that we are making deployment in other areas that we perceive that there's going to be likely problem. Because if you talk of area that attack has taken place and we are still investigation, we have restored lasting peace there. You think of area that we have prevented so many attacks from taking place. And this is done based on the directive of the Inspector General of Police that all Commissioner of Police should engage the stakeholders in ensuring that they impress it on them on the need to maintain the peace and the need to live together. And where incidents occur, there shouldn't be any repeat attack. Such incidents should report to the police and it will be investigated. A perpetrator will be brought to justice. But terrain is actually an issue. And that is why police surveillance helicopter are equally being deployed. Outside police patrol vehicle, we equally have amphibious APC that can go through difficult terrain, even if it's waterline area and others, and they are equally being deployed. But it won't be appropriate to begin to tell you the details of operations in the media.
Okay, even if you're not going to give us the details, do you have an idea of how many of these attacks have occurred in the last few weeks?
In the last few weeks, outside Adamawa, and the issue in Sanfara is not issue of Herdsmen or farmer clashes. It's only Adamawa that we have in the last few weeks. And this has been addressed.
Gimba, finish. I think he has a follow-up question for you.
Now, it is supposed that, for instance, these attacks are carried out at night. What are you doing? Because one would wonder that you would have gone beyond just physical deployment of your men and going technology way to try to make sure that these attacks don't even happen in the first place. What are you doing with technology to try to aid your operations?
Thank you so much. Like I told you earlier, we are engaging the stakeholders, and in the use of, we are not averse to technology. Investigation is a tool to ensure that, like investigation itself is a scientific approach to be able to put the perpetrator at the scene of crime, to be able to convince the court that this is the person that actually carried out the act. And that's in technology, we are deploying a technical platform. Equally, I won't go beyond mentioning technical platform because we have a lot, and that is what has been aiding us in ensuring that we arrest perpetrators of violence or crime of violence generally. In the area of arresting the kidnapping suspect, and equally those who have been engaging in wanton destruction of life and property will be deploying our technology, but I won't go beyond that. But we have that up to date in terms of currently, recently, with the head of foreign donor and our partners, we've opened up a terrorism investigation center in a location in the country that I will not tell you the name, and it's operational. So no matter what the level of destruction, we still get to investigate it and get success in our investigation.
I know the police would often say that the intelligence is part of what you use, and you're using it very effectively, and that means you're gathering information. So let's see, how much of arrests have been made? Let's use the Adamawa, for instance. How many people have been arrested?
For example, if we, what we are discussing is in public interest, and the situation on ground, we are investigating, and we may not want to go public now as a number of the people, because we are still arresting.
But what I want to
yes,
have an idea.
I want to
have any arrests been made?
We are making arrests. If I'm going to tell you this is a number, we are going to parry anybody arrested, because the IGP have deployed the technical platform and the intelligence team to go there. Because one, intelligence are better gathered by the locals, and that is why the police divisions have intelligence officers attached to them, and they are working. Because what is intelligence in the first place? Intelligence is information well protected. So if you are giving us information that is not protected, you are not helping us. So such an information will be protected. So we are gathering this intelligence to work on active intelligence to be able to have success in this investigation. And I want to assure every Nigerian that's watching us, especially people in Adamawa, that police is going to do justice.
Okay, so you're investigating in Adamawa. In Benue, how many arrests have been made?
Like she has asked me that question.
No, you see, the question she asked was how many are being prosecuted. But you say you're prosecuting. How many arrests have been made in Benue?
Let me tell you, in a single issue that have to do with Ghana, that we investigated, you know, we've arrested over 50 suspects in that regard, over 50 suspects, and we have been prosecuted.
That's in Benue.
That's in Benue, that leaked to Ghana. Before that incident, we made arrests that is getting to about 45. I mean, not be able, you know, it is a difficult thing to be able to tell this is the specific number, since arrest is still an ongoing process in all these crises.
In all these 15 that were arrested, let's say
50, not 15.
50. How many of them are in court?
Virtually all of them are in court. We don't release anybody because when you engage in destruction of life and property, you are not admissible to police bail. You are not admissible to police bail. It's only court that can determine your fate. Equally, if a Mudakika crisis, we intervene promptly, if you remember, and people were taken to court. So what happened after that in court? But that is a need where us critical stakeholders, especially the state government, will have to know that there's a need for them to work with the police diligently and thoroughly in investigating.
Mr. Moshood, I know that, you know, in the coming days there will definitely be controversy over the use of the word promptly. You know, when can the police actually say that they have intervened in the matter promptly? But let's leave that aside. Just wondering, recently the Benue State government passed into law the law prohibiting open grazing, and we're seeing a number of states doing that. Ekiti has done it, Benue has done it, Adamawa has done it. The law came into effect for Benue State this month. What effect does the police see, any security, any potential security effect as a result of the implementation of those laws in that state?
Thank you so much. I've
just been told now that you'll be allowed to answer that question when we return from this break. Please stay with us. Mr. Moshood Jimo is still with us in the studio. He is the Force Public Relations Officer of Nigeria Police. Now, just wondering, you're about to answer that question on if there's been any effect, any security threat as a result of the laws being implemented against open grazing in some states, particularly in Benue.
Thank you so much. I want to start by saying police don't make law.
I understand that. I'm saying, has there been any effect, security threat?
No, we enforce the law. So whatsoever is the outplay of any law put in place is for the police to ensure that there's no break of law and order in the state. We've been conversant because if there's a way people are doing things and there's a law restricting them or restricting them, then there's definitely going to be friction, and the police is prepared to ensure that there's no breakdown of law and order on both sides. And we so much believe Nigerian law-abiding people, and we believe everybody is going to obey the law, because nothing is an offense except what is stated in the law to be an offense, and the law stating the offense will clearly state the procedure and the punishment for such an offense. But outside that, for all area, and that is why it is important for the people to know that we are brothers in the country, and we need to live together in peace with one another, whatever is the situation. So the Inspector General of Police has the Commissioner of Police to impress it on the people, and that is why stakeholder meetings have been held across all the northern states and other states. That issue of herdsmen and farmers have been an issue for some time now. So, and for now, we've not had any singular incident of violence as a result of any law put in place in any of these states. So, and we're very hopeful that everything will go down well and people will continue to obey and respect the law.
So, is it a law that the Nigeria Police would also recommend to other states to help calm down clashes against farmers, between farmers and herdsmen?
We don't make recommendations on laws. Laws are made by people who are responsible for
If you found something, sorry to interrupt you, if you found something to be a solution in a state and it's working and it's helping to put in place, it's helping your work in ensuring that law and order exists in those states, would you recommend it to other states and say this state has gone down this route?
That's clearly not our responsibility, because you have a lot of bodies in the country. You have the governors' forums, you have the Northern Governor Forums, you have the Southern Governor Forum. They can learn from each other and be able to implement for the good of the people of the state, because law are made for men and it's made for convenience of the people.
Just for, we're out of time, but real quick, what's the plan to have Mina arrested? Because there's a warrant of arrest for him.
From where
is the
was
police
the
planning to arrest?
No, I didn't get you clearly. Warrant
is the police planning to arrest Abdul Rashid?
We are ready to enforce any warrant served on the police to carry it out. We execute any warrant, whether it's minor or it's not minor. If there's a warrant,
is it wanted?
It's not the police that is investigating the case of minor. So I will not be competent to comment about it. But for us, if any agency seek for police assistance in arresting anybody that go foul of the law, nobody's above the law.
So
the police
the EFCC is looking for minor and the EFCC is a federal government agency, your sister agency, are you going to assist?
I think that question is for EFCC to answer. For me, the police is a mother organization to virtually all the security agencies in the country. And mind you, the police is a creation of constitution. Most of these security and other safety agencies are not creation of constitution, they are creation of various acts, and that does not make them unlawful. But what I'm trying to say is that the lead agency in internal security, we take over responsibility that is given to us. Where, like in CPA, where somebody is committed an offense in the presence of the policeman, the police have the responsibility to effect the arrest of the person. But for a warrant that emanates from court, the court will equally stipulate to execute the warrant. And if the police is asked to do so,
Mr. Moshood, I'm afraid that we've totally run out of time. We have to thank you for coming to shed a bit more light on the farmers, herdsmen clashes and what the Nigeria police is doing about it. Thank you for coming on Sunrise Daily.
I thank you for having me.
Well, Mr. Jimoh Moshood is the Force Public Relations Officer of the Nigeria Police. And that will be all from Abuja here on Sunrise Daily this lovely Wednesday morning. Thank you for watching. I'm Maokwe Ogun.
I'm Nel Taiwo. Thank you for watching.
And I am Gimba Umar. Thanks for watching.